One morning, a poor potter found a strange stone on the side of the road. He thought it was nothing more than a pretty piece of rock. What he didn't know was that the stone could change his entire life. His name was Daniel, and he made his living selling clay pots, bowls, water jars, and small lamps in the town market. Money had been tight for several weeks, so that morning he loaded his donkey with everything he had made and started toward town, hoping to sell it all. The road was long, and the donkey moved slowly under the weight of the pottery. Daniel was thinking about his family and wondering how much he might earn that day when something shiny caught his attention beside the road. He stopped, climbed down, and picked it up. The stone was unusually heavy. It was clear, smooth, and reflected the sunlight in a strange way. Daniel turned it around in his hand, smiled, and thought it might look nice hanging from his donkey. He pulled an old piece of rope from his bag, tied the stone to it, and placed it around the donkey's neck. Then he continued toward town. He had no idea he had just put a fortune around his donkey's neck. When Daniel reached the market, he arranged his pottery and began cleaning the dust from each piece. The market was crowded and noisy, with merchants calling out to customers and people moving between the stalls. Then a man stepped out of a jewelry store nearby. His name was Mr. Collins, and he had spent his entire life dealing with precious stones. The moment Collins saw the stone hanging from Daniel's donkey, he stopped walking. He knew exactly what he was looking at. It wasn't an ordinary stone. It was a rare diamond. And judging by its size and quality, it could be worth more money than Daniel had earned in years. Collins quickly realized something else. Daniel had absolutely no idea what he had. So Collins walked over and tried to look completely casual. "Hey, would you be willing to sell that stone around your donkey's neck?" Daniel looked at the stone. "If you want it, sure. I don't really need it." Collins smiled. "How about $50? Daniel looked surprised. "50? Yeah," Collins replied casually. "It's just a stone." Daniel looked at the diamond again. Something didn't feel right. "Actually, no. I think I'll keep it." Collins tried not to react. "Okay, how about 100? Daniel shook his head. Still no. Collins raised the offer. 200. Daniel remained silent. 500, Collins said. This time, Daniel looked directly at him. "If it's only an ordinary stone, why do you keep raising the price?" Collins suddenly had nothing to say. Daniel wasn't educated in gemstones, but he wasn't foolish either. He held the stone in his hand and looked at it more carefully. "I don't know what this is worth," he said, "but I think I should find out before I sell it." He untied the rope and walked away. Collins watched him leave. For the first time that morning, he realized his plan had failed. Daniel didn't know the value of the diamond, but he had recognized the value of getting a second opinion. Daniel remembered an elderly jeweler named Mr. Bennett, a man known throughout town for being honest. Daniel took the stone to him. Bennett examined it under a bright lamp. Then he turned it over several times and looked at it through a small magnifying glass. His expression suddenly changed. "Daniel, where did you get this?" "On the side of the road?" Bennett looked at him seriously. "Do you know what you're holding?" Daniel shook his head. "This is a very valuable diamond." Daniel stared at him. Then he remembered Collins offering $50. Then 100, 200, 500. Suddenly, everything made sense. Daniel returned to Collins' store. He placed the diamond on the counter. "Why did you try to buy this from me for $50? Collins looked uncomfortable. "I didn't know for sure what it was." Daniel knew that wasn't true. "You knew exactly what it was." Collins lowered his eyes.
Daniel could have shouted at him. He could have demanded an apology. Instead, he simply picked up the diamond. "I may not have known its value," he said, "but that didn't give you the right to take advantage of me." Then he walked away. But Daniel still had a problem. He knew the diamond was valuable, but he didn't know its true market price. So he decided not to sell it to one person. He would let several buyers compete for it. Word spread quickly through the market. A rare diamond had been found.
Jewelry dealers and wealthy buyers came from neighboring towns. The bidding started. One buyer offered $20,000. Another offered $30,000, then $40,000. The numbers kept climbing. Finally, a wealthy businessman offered an amount so large that Daniel could hardly believe it. It was more money than he had earned in years. For a man who had struggled to sell enough pottery to feed his family, suddenly becoming wealthy was almost overwhelming. Daniel could have spent the money immediately. He could have bought a huge house, expensive clothes, and everything he had never been able to afford. But instead, he thought about his family. He thought about the years when they had struggled, and he remembered something his father had once told him. Money can make your life easier, but knowing the value of what you have can change your life. Daniel sold the diamond. But he didn't let the money change who he was. He bought a comfortable home for his family and invested in a larger pottery business. Then he used part of his wealth to build a small school in his village and helped local craftsmen sell their work directly to customers. He wanted other hardworking people to have a fair chance. Years later, Collins came to see him. The once confident jeweler now looked embarrassed. "Daniel, I underestimated you." Daniel smiled. "You didn't underestimate me because I was poor. You underestimated me because you thought I would never discover what I had." Collins remained silent. Daniel continued, "Not knowing the value of something doesn't make it worthless." Then he looked toward his pottery workshop. "It just means you need to learn its value before someone else decides it for you." Collins nodded and walked away. Daniel continued making pottery for the rest of his life. He still dressed simply and still enjoyed working with clay. And whenever a young craftsman came to him saying, "Nobody wants to pay much for my work," Daniel always gave the same advice. Before you accept someone's price, learn the real value of what you're offering. Because Daniel had learned that lesson the hard way. The diamond wasn't the greatest thing he found that morning. The greatest thing he found was the ability to question the first price someone put on something he didn't understand. Sometimes we make the same mistake with our own lives. We let other people decide what our work is worth, what our time is worth, or what we're capable of. And if we never stop to learn our own value, someone else may be happy to tell us it's worth far less than it really is. Daniel found a diamond on the side of the road, but the real treasure was learning not to sell something simply because someone else offered a price. Not knowing your value doesn't make you worthless. It only means it's time to discover what you're really worth.